You know what? I'm usually quiet about this stuff. I don't say anything about the stuff that I see on YouTube. I've been on here doing audio reviews for maybe 5 years or so, and it didn't used to bother me, but just right now I felt like I should say something. You know what I mean? And the reason being is in order to care about something, there has to be stuff that you're against, right? If you're for something, you have to be against something too. That's just the way it is, right? And so for me, I'm against dishonesty and, some of these reviewers. I'm not going to call out any specific names, but I have a list here. And so, I see some people who are just trying to get as many views, as many subscribers as possible, right? Like that's the goal, right? The goal is to grow your channel. I don't know why, I don't know that that's a great business plan to begin with, but I mean, you just see these people doing like these thumbnails that are just there to get your attention somehow, right? Okay, I get it. That's the game, right? But when it comes down to the things that they're saying, they're not saying anything, right? So to me, it's a waste of time. I watch some of their videos sometimes, like they didn't tell me anything. And then when it comes to reviewing something, a lot of times these people are just wrong, right? So I get having a subjective opinion, but if somebody says something has too much bass and it doesn't have any bass, well, that's just wrong, right? The measurement shows what it is, right? So you can't just be wrong, right? A lot of this stuff, when it comes to acoustics and psychoacoustics, these are sciences, right? Everybody wants to make this out to be some kind of art, right? And yeah, there's an art. It's for the artists, the people who make the music. If you're making a playback system, yeah, okay, maybe you can get some stuff that looks nice together. Okay, I get it. I get that, right? It's kind of like putting rims on a car. Okay, that's your contribution, right? But at the end of the day, you're buying equipment to reproduce the art, right? Which means that what we're doing here is science, right? So that upsets me. Some of these guys, honestly, I'll just say straight up, they don't really know what they're talking about, right? They don't put the time to learn. They don't put in the effort to do the experiments and try things out for themselves to find out what's true and what's not true. They regurgitate what other people say. And it's kind of like this echo chamber. And I say this because I care. I care about my viewers getting the best possible information, right? And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm the first one to say I don't know. And sometimes, I've put out some information before that maybe was not super accurate, but it's not because I was trying to do it on purpose. It's because this is a learning process, right? So in a year, I may look at the stuff that I'm saying now and say, you know what, that's not exactly correct, but I'm striving to be correct, right? Some of these guys I don't know if they even care to be correct, right? And so that bothers me, right? Because I work really hard to make sure that what I'm saying is factual. I do measurements, right? And I also do, I try really hard to make sure that I'm not trying to sell people on stuff. A lot of these guys I think they want to be influential, right? They love, I can make somebody buy something. Yeah, so what? I've been in sales my whole life. I can make people buy stuff. I run my own retail businesses. Of course I know how to do that, right? I could do it easily. I try hard not to do that in my videos, right? Because the goal is for you guys to make the best possible decision for yourselves. That means education. But I think what ends up happening is a lot of folks, right? A lot of viewers, they just want, they want somebody to verify that what they're buying or wanting to buy is a good purchase, right? So they want to be sold on it, right? And that's okay. I get that. I do it too, right? If I'm looking for a cell phone, I want somebody to kind of get me to buy it, right? So I understand that behavior, and I understand also buying something and wanting somebody to say, hey, you know what? That purchase you made, you spent a lot of money, but it was a good purchase, right? I get that. But, it's not what I want to do with my channel, right? It's more, I want to educate, right? And so, some of these other guys that claim to be educational, and the trick is that sometimes they are very factual, they're educational, but at the same time, they're trying to get that money, right? Which means that they have these people who are paying them. They may not even tell you, right? And so the lines are blurred because, yeah, sometimes they're telling like great information and sometimes they're not, right? This depends on who's paying. What I do is I have sponsors, but I tell you guys, right? I let you guys decide. If you think that this is okay or not okay, that's fine. I'm at least being transparent, letting you guys decide. So I see some of these dudes, you know, they try to be like gatekeepers, right? They want you to only go to them for the source of information. And that's not how science works, right? We're all just kind of comparing notes. You should be able to go to different channels and kind of see, you know, make your own opinion, right? Based on what other people are saying. So that's another little rant. I have, you know, there's some other guys that are really great at storytelling or just entertaining characters, right? And I respect that, right? That is an awesome trait to have. Some of them have great video quality, looks like you're watching a little mini movie, but at the same time, they're feeding you straight up garbage information, right? Information about speakers and telling you that every single thing is awesome. Why? Well, probably because I don't know, maybe they want to get, you know, I don't know, more stuff from these companies. Or they're worried that if they stop saying nice things that those companies will stop sending stuff to them. I just don't care, right? I don't care. I tell these companies, I'm going to tell the truth. You're going to get some exposure. You may sell some stuff. And I'm going to say the truth. If it's a good product, then it's a good product. If it sucks, then it sucks. And even if I say it sucks, sometimes people still buy it. So these companies still send me stuff. Watch some of my old reviews of things that I haven't reviewed or things that I've reviewed that maybe didn't score so well and see if I've reviewed anything after that. I'm pretty sure a lot of these companies still send me stuff. I don't know any company who doesn't send me anything that I wouldn't want. Like, I would call any of these companies and they'll send me something. So anyway, some of these guys, I've seen some dudes that are always about the expensive thing. You know, they're the bougie guy, right? They just, anything that's expensive, there's like a little air of like, you know, well, obviously this is expensive, so it's the best. And sometimes the expensive stuff straight up sucks, all right? I get to calibrate lots of systems, right? So I get to see what's awesome and what isn't. Sometimes expensive stuff is really good. Sometimes it's straight garbage, right? That's what the measurements are there for, right? So you can't just rely on that. And I think some of these guys just keep wanting to go high end because they want that high end stuff for themselves, right? They want the best of the best. They're not going to go and buy it. So they'll review it, say some nice stuff, and hopefully get to keep it. I guess, you know, most of my stuff is inexpensive. You know, I'm rocking Monolith products, right? Some of their least expensive stuff, their least expensive line in my living room. So you can't say that that's what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to find the least expensive stuff that's awesome because to me, that's what's exciting. You know, if you can buy a great system, not have to spend a lot, that's awesome to me. If nobody can afford it, that's, so what? What if it's the greatest thing? Who cares if nobody can really buy it? Maybe the 5 people and maybe you'll get a commission off them. Maybe that's what their plan is. You know, I see this one guy, he's always just like, pretty much everything that he says is just subjective fluff, doesn't make any sense, no objective backing whatsoever. A lot of these guys, right? Sometimes they're 2-channel guys, I just have to say, right? And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of seeing that, right? You know, I think that people should expect more. Ask these guys to back it up. Show some measurements. And I'm not saying that everybody has to be, you know, a university professor and read all these textbooks about acoustics and psychoacoustics. But if this is what you're doing, if you want to be a professional, well, at least try, right? Read some of that stuff. And for anybody who doesn't do that, I'd be a little bit suspicious, right? I'd be a little skeptical of that person who claims to know all this stuff and they don't do the research, right? And some of these guys, you know, are somewhere in between, right? Some of them read all the manuals, they read the specs and all that, and all their information is based on that. And they don't even bother to think outside of the box, look at different options. And that's what this is about, right? When you're talking about home theater stuff, we're finding out stuff because we created this spatial toolkit, right? We're finding stuff that we didn't know about before. And it's kind of crazy to see that some of these science guys, right? They're supposedly all about science. Well, the moment we start questioning what their beliefs are, they're not, they're like, no way. Well, that's science. Science is questioning what you previously thought. And given this new information, are you going to change your mind? Or are you going to stick to the old thing, right? To me, you only look stupid if you force yourself to stick to the old thing, even though there's better information, right? So there's people like that. Before I end this, right? I know this is a long rant and sounds like I'm upset, and I am upset, right? I'm upset because I care, right? I care about good information about audio, right? And, I just have to give a shout out to some folks that I do really respect. What happened to these guys like Brent Butterworth, right? He's used to do all kinds of measurements, headphones, used to do the CA 2010, I think that's what it is, subwoofer measurements, right? My buddy Aaron at Aaron's Audio Corner, he goes out of his way to do some ridiculous measurements that are even beyond what I would do, right? And so we compare notes, and that's awesome. Amir is doing some great stuff also. And not that I agree with everybody's approach, and not everybody's going to agree with my approach, right? It's not about that. To me, it's about, you have to find who you think is right for you. But for me, as somebody who's really into this, I look at some of the guys that I just mentioned, and there are more out there, right? And I respect these guys because they're really trying, right? I get that it's important to entertain people, but it's also important to educate people. And some of these guys are just too far on the educational side, not enough on the on the entertainment side, and not enough education, right? So too much entertainment, not enough education. I think there needs to be a balance. You have to tell the correct information. Not everything can be the best. Some things have to not be so good, right? That's just the way things are. And that's basically it. Let me know what you guys think, right? I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but the reason why I'm so pumped about this is just that I think it draws people away. I think it draws people away from this hobby when they're interested. They want to buy some audio stuff. And then they have one guy who's telling them, nah, you got to buy expensive. Then you have another guy who's just like, you never know when to pull the trigger because every single product that comes out is the best, right? So, I think it's confusing to these people, and it's discouraging. And then they're like, forget this. These people, I don't know, this is all full of crap. And it doesn't have to be like that, right? I think the answer is this. If you're going to be somebody who's going to be entertaining, okay, be entertaining, but disclose that you're also not very knowledgeable. Admit what you're good at and what you're not good at, right? What I'm not good at is maybe I'm not as entertaining as some of these guys, right? Because I'm trying to, I have so many facts that I have to try to get out that it's hard to be entertaining on top of all that, right? That's my fault, right? But I can admit that. I'm going to try better. I'm also trying to improve. I want to be better at entertaining you guys while educating you, So hopefully this is partially that, right? But I had to get this off of my chest. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Yeah, I don't want to spread, hatred, but I'm curious what you guys think. I don't want anybody to be dropping names. I don't care if you say the name in the comment. It's not, oh yeah, this guy heart because you said the right name. I think if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, right? And if I'm full of crap, also let me know that I'm full of crap. All right? So anyway, I'm saying this because I care. That's it. If you like this video, if you like this sort of rant, I'm not planning on doing it again, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.